What's up, guys? Steven with Diamond Hands Detailing. Gonna do another walkthrough overview of my 5x8 8 GPM pressure washing and soft washing setup. This is just a basic carry-on 5x8 trailer. It's not even the heavyweight one. I tend to empty this tank out pretty significantly every time I drive, which is fine by me. It's got an upgraded axle, so it can carry a little more weight than the factory one. For the pressure washing setup, I have an IGX 800 Honda hooked to a Cat gear driven pump. This is an Ameritech setup. I had Ameritech install this in Tampa. It's plumbed with a 1-inch bulkhead out of the front there through a valve. That hose runs around, goes to this little A-frame filter, which you can unscrew there to clean out the filter, into the inlet. For the water supply to the unloader, it's a remote unloader. It's a K7, I'll show you over there. Got 3/8 hose running over here. Here's the unloader valve. And then for my high pressure line, I have 200 foot of whatever the Amazon brand is. This is Yamatic. And I kind of go through these. I probably swap them out about once a year now. This is a cheap Amazon hose reel. It fits everything on there. This is the weak point though. These kind of tend to rust out. I have to swap them out, but they're only like $100. I haven't found a reason yet to justify spending $400, $500, $600 on the aluminum ones. And I also don't really have a spot to mount them. So these are doing the trick. None of these are connected through the actual hose reel itself. These are for storage. This is a soft wash hose. So it's 200 foot. There's my 12 volt Delavan. It's mounted to the trailer. 7 GPM Delavan. And then I just keep these for storage. So while it's heavy and they kind of rust out sometimes, they're $100 to replace and it's next day shipping on Amazon. So I've just been swapping them out. It's not that big of a deal. This is my fuel tank. This thing keeps probably a day's worth of fuel, a little more. So I never run out of fuel on a job. I always fill up ethanol free only. Here's my inlet hose, my feed supply. This hooks up to the customer's water source. It's just a garden hose, 100 foot, runs up through this into a pre-filter. And after the pre-filter goes into this bulkhead that has a Hudson float valve on it, so the tank doesn't overflow. That thing works great. You probably wonder what all these other hoses are here. This is an inlet. This orangish hose comes out to the proportioner, and the proportioner runs down into the Delavan pump. The soap is run through this valve. It comes through to a cam lock and a drop stick into my sodium hypochlorite tank, which I'll show you why I have a cam lock on there in just a second. And then this soap hose runs up and over into a 7-gallon little surfactant tank there. I don't do a lot of soft washing. I mostly use the 12 volt setup for obviously really dirty spots on houses, dirty gutters, and then concrete pre and post treating. Otherwise, I downstream 90% of the time. Most bad houses, I can drop a 1.8 injector on there and downstream it. So I don't really use the soft washing I don't do roof cleaning either, so I don't use it as much as some companies would. Moving around here, I have my Ground Force Whisper Wash. Got the X-Force. I love this thing, it's a moneymaker. And then my ladder rack and some custom fab spots for brooms. I have to have a bunch of brooms for paver sealing. What I changed here recently, I used to have a neutralizer tank on here. So the SH tank was where this little tank is here. And then that was a neutralizer tank. And the other day, somehow, mysteriously, the SH tank had a crack in the bottom of it. So it was leaking everywhere. That was a whole fiasco, but we got it figured out. I got some new 3,000 pound straps on here and everything's held on really well. And then I went ahead and moved the little soak tank up here. And now I have a bunch more room. But I want to show you how I have it plumbed for downstreaming. So basically, I have this 3-way valve. I know it's zip tied, don't judge me. It has 1/4 inch hose through a uniseal to the bottom of the SH tank with a drop stick and the filter down there. And then the other side, when it's time to flush, goes through a hose, through a uniseal to the bottom of the water tank. And then the injector itself runs down to the jumper here. So this jumper isn't always on here. I take it off when I'm not washing, obviously. It sticks out over the trailer. But you put the injector right here. When it's time to use chem, you switch the valve over, it draws through. When it's time to rinse, you switch back, and it's as easy as that. Then whenever we are done, I just pop this injector out and drop it in a bucket of water over here. Just fresh water. Seems to make them last a lot longer. And then, you're probably wondering what's in this junction box. I have a voltmeter. And inside, I have the soft wash pump, and then this controls the traffic directional light bar on the back, because safety first. So everything stays nice and dry in there. I can see the voltage on my trailer for the soft wash pump, and that's pretty much it. It's all run under the tank to the battery, which is right back over there in that box. The unloader valve runs through this little hose up to the top there and shoots to the back of the tank so we don't get bubbles running through our pump. And then to drain the tank, I have a little 3/4 inch plumbed spigot type deal right there. I kind of want to get that a little bigger. It takes a minute to unload. Usually what I do to unload is I'll turn the soft wash pump on just water. So I'll have that flushing out, and then I'll run the outlet on the tank there. But that's pretty much it, guys. Nothing more, nothing less than what I need. Like I said, I do 90% downstreaming, a little bit of soft washing, but I've done a couple hotels now. We just did a big 2,500 square foot paver ceiling job at a Holiday Inn. I've done a couple of the schools here in the county I live in. So those are multi-building jobs that take all day, and I have never had an issue with this setup. It's plenty enough for big commercial work. Plenty enough for fleet washing. I keep up with a couple companies here, clean their trucks. I have a mobile detailing skid in the back of my truck, so we kind of work them together with the spot-free water. And now with that tank gone, I have enough room for spare hose, pump sprayers, any extra chemicals, paver sealing supplies and whatnot. And that's pretty much it. One more thing I upgraded here was on the bleach hose. I have a cam lock, and instead of switching it to the neutralizer tank, I have this other drop stick that I pull out to drop in a bucket. So what I'll do is just drop this bucket right here when I'm flushing the tank, unhook the cam lock, hook it up to the drop stick, put it in the bucket with the fresh water, and flush it that way. The way I was doing it before is I had the other tank with neutralizer, but what was happening was after I would flush it, the next time I would use it, it would inevitably have some leftover neutralizer in here that was contaminating my bleach tank and dropping my percentage, and it was noticeable. So no more contamination now. Completely eliminate a tank off the trailer, and I have more room, and I can just flush everything kind of remotely in a drop stick form versus a neutralizer tank. So that definitely has helped a lot more simple. Not many things that can go wrong with this rig, and if it does go wrong, it can be swapped out right here. I don't have to climb through a big 6x12 jungle. So I look to hopefully one day upgrade to a little bit bigger rig and potentially get another 8 or 2 10s, but I don't really have the workflow for pressure washing where I'm at. It's really competitive here, so this is honestly plenty enough. If anything, I'd almost just rather have a second trailer. But that's it, guys. If you have any questions about the rig, any questions about the business, please drop a comment. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.